Yep.
Ready? Let's go to Cuba.
All right, I'm Aiden.
I'm Tanya.
Hi, Kate. I'm Emma.
And we did Cuba, and so the Cuban Americans have a pretty rich and unique culture, and we think it fit very well into a basketball here. And I think it would successfully combine the Cuban American culture with the downtown Boise community.
So we have a food store here, which would, we have different Cuban authentic foods. So I think that is a Cuban traditional dish. We have things as coffee, probably be rum there. Actually, there would be rum there because Cubans are very well known for their rum. There's different cooking wines and hot sauces there that are traditional to the Cuban culture, as well as some spices that would really go along with food, so you can kind of take those and bring some Cuban into your own home kind of thing. There is some for Cuban food, and you probably pretty much. So for the Cuban restaurant, we have, this is like a traditional dish, so this is some shredded meat. This is arroz con frijoles, which is just a mixture of beans and rice put together. And these would be fried plantains, so they're kind of deep fried and more on the sweeter side. These would be, they're kind of like, I don't know exactly how to say it, but they're kind of like empanadas in the sense, where they're kind of like the flaky croissant crust, and they could be filled with anything from meat to sweet things, like for dessert, like apples and different things like that. So you can dip those in different salsas or different fixtures and add stuff on it like that. There is a rum cake, it's a Bacardi rum cake kind of thing that's very traditional. You would just kind of have that after a meal, or if you're going over to somebody's house, you would bring one of these to them and just kind of as like a housewarming offering for and the restaurant decor, so there is anything from very formal with kind of more plain settings to like more of a nightclub sort of thing where it's a bar and has a lot of colorful colors in it and it's very vibrant and bright. These are actual restaurants.
All right, so for the sports building, we would revamp it and turn it into a boxing gym. Behind baseball, boxing is the next most popular sport for Cubans and Cuban Americans. And so in our boxing gym, we would use it to bring the community involvement because it would offer fitness classes for everyone along with training to become a competitive boxer. And then obviously we'd have, I wasn't quite sure on the size, so 1 or 2 actual boxing rings along with multiple heavy bags and other punching equipment. And then we would also have obviously jump ropes and anything else that you'd use in a boxing gym. And then besides the boxing gym, we would propose to move the Boise Hawks to downtown Boise next to the Cuban Block. There are a bunch of empty lots off to the side of it, and this would not be cheap. I estimated conservatively with the buying of the property and building a stadium, it would cost roughly $40 to $50 million. And so to pay for this, you can't just ask people to pay for it. We'd ask the city of Boise to hopefully pay for $10 million of it with city taxes, and we propose that it will bring more people to downtown and be almost a tourist attraction to come downtown, see the Cuban Block, and then go to a baseball game. We'd also ask that the Boise Hawks organization front $10 million of it, and it would end up being brand new ballpark for them with updated things, and then probably draw more people in because it's more central, and you got the campus nearby, so you might draw students in to come watch and other things like that. And then for the last $20 to $30 million, it'd be outside source fundraising. So we would propose having, if you donate a certain amount of money, you'd either get like a brick inside the stadium or there'd be a wall with inscriptions of people's names. Then we'd also put up the offer to local businesses such as Albertsons, Micron, or any local downtown businesses to donate more money and either name the field or the stadium after their companies. And we can make that work. The Cubans love baseball. It is Cuban Americans love baseball. It is their favorite sport. It was used to help revolutionize Cuba from Spain and then us after that. And it'd be a great way to keep that tradition going here.
Okay, so there's lots of symbols in Cuba that represent what it stands for. So I figured we would just take the four most important ones and put that into our block. The first one is the Cuban flag, right over there. We would put that on either side of the block just to show its importance to the Cubans. Next is the coat of arms, which is the second image there. This symbol is really dear to the Cubans' hearts. It represents everything that they stand for as a state. So we would put that cemented in the ground in the center of the block, just how the Basque block has their symbol right in the center. Third is the white mariposa, which is the Cuban flower. Since that is their state flower, we would plant that all alongside the flower beds of the Basque block and also put it in the windowsills of the buildings. And last is the royal palm, which is their state tree. And since that obviously can't survive in Idaho conditions, then we would put somehow implement a royal palm like on the side of the building, like how the crack is in the building in downtown Boise, something like that. There are many events that occurred in Cuba that make it stand for what it is, but the most important one that we would showcase in our museum is the Cuban Revolution, which occurred from 1953 to 1959. Fidel Castro and his allies came and basically booted out the president of Cuba at the time, which made all the Cubans flee to the States, and our relationship with them developed through that. Through that, it also had intense domestic and international consequences. So that's how they came here, and that's how Cuban Americans started to become free. So that helped, and that is what I was saying.
Okay. Our gift shop, like most gift shops, would have like the flag, and you can have like little flags or big flags, like the ones that will be up and down the streets. And then to support the baseball arena and to give proceeds to them, we would have Cuban baseball jerseys and hats. And then if you don't like the Cuban baseball team, we also have the bats and the ball keychain that you can get. And of course shot glasses because of the rum with a little flag on it. And if you go to Cuba, on like all the corners, they sell these coconut monkeys. So they're coconuts and like carved in coconuts. And you can like hang out places or on your car or something. So there's that. And then in our clubhouse, it'd also be supporting the boxing arena. So every few nights, to be like a bar, like most of everyone else is too, because of the rum, to be a rum bar and a cigar bar as well because of Cuban cigars. And every, like once a week, we would have boxing matches for everyone to come in and drink and smoke and watch some boxing. And then upstairs, if you would want a more quieter night, you could play chess because chess was very popular as well. So you can be loud and rowdy and watch boxing or play chess and drink.
And this is our Cuban Boise block, and we can, because we want to our customers to be convenient, so we actually put the food store near a restaurant. So after you eat, you can go to the food store and buy some ingredients so you can make the dishes yourself. And this is our Boise Hawks as native nations, and this is the stadium. So we will have to demolish 2 buildings in the basketball block to create 2 parking lots for this. And we also have the museum will combine with the gift shop in order for convenience, and this is the clubhouse for reasons. And because it was kind of crowded when the Boise Hawks begin, so we have to block some road in order not to be little traffic